Kaguchia things, then I come to Kaguchia. What are your thoughts on this? On the legalizing CDF part, first of all, increasing it from 2.5% to 5%, will that be sufficient? And then the Senate issue.
Well, let me start by the Senate issue.
Yeah.
The issue that Senator has raised is important because at the end of the day, you say there's nothing for us without us.
Yeah.
And so the Senate need to be involved. And I think our whip has clearly put it that indeed, probably it's early. And the Senator shouldn't feel that they have been put off.
So Sifuna is jumping the gun?
Well, I don't want to say that he's jumping the gun. I think he's just anticipating.
Yeah.
And what I would say is that at this point in time, even as members of National Assembly, we are at the preliminary stages where we are actually doing something more or less like public participation. We're also giving our thinking, we're also giving our input. And so because this bill is originating from National Assembly and we are at the point of giving our thoughts, like Senator Sifuna is putting it, or they would want to do. So I think it's okay to wait and then wait until the time they get that opportunity then to raise their issues and at some point maybe even approach the drafters of this bill, because I can see this bill has been originated by one member from Kenya Kwanza and another one from Azimio. So it's important to sit with them, even at this point in time, and give them their thoughts so that they can be brought on board. Having said that, I would also want to point out that this issue of oversight kitty has not been there. It's a new idea, actually. We have the 0.001% that Honorable Sifuna is talking about, and the 1% of what is already allocated to the CDFs as oversight kitty for members of parliament. This is a new idea. Even that 1% of CDF oversight has not been there. At some point, the idea was mooted back in 2016, but there's no allocation that was put there. And at that point in time is also when the NG-CDF came about, and it kind of separated this fund from being run by the Member of Parliament and put in place a committee, and then Member of Parliament is supposed to be in the oversight of this kitty.
Yeah.
Now, what I would actually be looking at myself as we are doing this, as we are putting this law into the Constitution, which I support, and I want to support also the increase of this amount from 2.5% to 5%, so that we can have more meaningful resources going to people on the grassroots. Yeah. In fact, this was the first devolved fund that ever happened in Kenya through the national government. I don't mind it having being given a bigger share, so that we are able to educate more kids. We are able to pay bursary for those people who get to be admitted to national schools, the bright, needy children. Now, the other thing I would also be looking at from where I sit or from where I stand is we need to increase, or we need to change the mandate of the CDF. At this point in time, we have the mandate of CDF being security and education. And if you look at some of the constituencies, giving an example like Kiharu constituency led by Honorable Didi Nyoro, you find that they have been able to work on their schools, and I think they have kind of completed, renovating almost all their schools. Almost all their schools are tiled. They have nice windows, they have nice toilets. Now they're actually doing landscaping for their schools. Now they look like academies. Now, I mean, they have also done quite a bit in terms of security, building offices for chiefs and sub-chiefs and police posts. Then what else do you want Honorable Didi Nyoro to do with his money, if at all you're not going to expand the mandate of the CDF from the two areas of security and education? So I think we need to increase it.
Okay.
At some point, I was a chair of CDF, and there are some projects that we initiated that had to do with small irrigation projects, which I think, looking at the issue of food security today in the country, we need to allow the CDF to be able to handle those, so that we can start and initiate projects.
Yeah.
We can even help to come up with designs and surveys that are very expensive for the people at the local level to develop.
Okay.
And once we have been able to do that, then the National Irrigation Board can come and pick up those irrigation schemes, and maybe the county governments. But to initiate and even to do and implement some of those small irrigation projects should be allowed by the CDF. There's one particular irrigation project that was started by CDF in my locality, in my village, called the Hasagana irrigation scheme. And I remember the allocation that was done to that project was about 3 million at that time. And then we had IFAD, which came on board and gave another 7 million. And now lately again we have had another donor organization which has given 35 million. And now that irrigation project has actually peaked, and people are now farming sweet potatoes and many other things. So we should be able to expand the mandate of CDF.
All right, Sifuna, I'll give you final say on this. Before
Trevor, you know, my brother knows I